And now I did make one more quick virtual background for everybody else to enjoy on the stream here. So there we go. There we go. And let us welcome the one and only absolutely incredible M from Verbal Diorama back to the live stream for the Cure for your 4th or 5th or something like that year. I don't even remember. Hi.
Oh, hi.
You painted your letters.
I did. I painted my letters. I've been tasked with doing that all week. They're not very good. You'll realise that I wanted to go for the rainbow. I was like, I like rainbows. Let's go for the rainbow. But then the R is supposed to be yellow and the E is supposed to be orange. And I got them mixed up. So this is what we ended up with. It's like a little weird, quirky rainbow. But I'm a little weird, quirky rainbow. So it kind of all fits. So hello, how are you?
I'm good. Just kicking off today, which is already going amazing, and it's even more amazing since I get to see your beautiful face for the next hour. And I like in this cropped screen view, we got like just a quarter of Gerald's face, just like he's just there. Like you could just sort of tell he's there, just hanging out, just waiting for us. So before we get the segment started, just in case people aren't familiar with who you are or what you want. Or what we're going to be doing today. Of course, she's got that Mummy DVD on display. Of course. Actually, that looks like a VHS, isn't it?
It is. This is my original Mummy VHS tape.
Wow.
From the rental store. But I don't have a VHS player, so I can't play it. So it just lives here now.
I mean, if you still had a VHS player and you had been playing it all this time, it for sure would have been worn out by now. But yeah, let everybody know, who are you and a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So, hello, everyone. I'm kind of pretending that no one's watching this, by the way, because then it gets past all of my nerves. But my name is Em. I host Verbal Diorama. It is kind of the letters up there. It's not the actual logo of the podcast because, I'm not that rich. I can't afford like special logo letters. But yeah, so my podcast is Verbal Diorama and it is basically a film history podcast. So it's all about the history and legacy of movies you know and movies you don't. Very often features this man over here. I have a little segment called the obligatory Keanu reference. Keanu Reeves may feature today if we're lucky. But I'll come back to that. So yeah, this is my 4th live stream for The Cure. I've been podcasting for 6 years now. I don't know what happened the first 2 years. I think Nick wouldn't allow me to do it for the first 2 years because he was like, no, you're too new. You're too much of a noob. Like, we don't like you. But then
Never.
On my 3rd year of podcasting, he was like, 2nd year, whatever. I can't do maths. Oh God, this is not going well. Yeah, on that year, he was like, actually, we like you now. So yeah, that's how I came to be doing this. And I have to tell you, I have to be honest, that today, my plan for today was obviously to finish my letters, but also to actually kind of put something together for this. And I've been so poorly today. And I know I was poorly last year as well. I think I had like the flu or something last year. And today I've had like the worst headache. And I'm not even joking. I've been in bed pretty much all day. So I've basically I've taken literally every single tablet known to man. I feel a lot better now, thankfully. But yeah. So we're just going to have to wing it because I've only done a little bit of prep. So let's just see how we go. Okay,
I'm good with it. It's fine. It's fine. We'll survive. We'll make it.
So yeah, what are we going to do today? Well, that is a question, is it not? I've been doing a film history podcast for 6 years now, so I like to think. I'm not really kind of, up myself or anything like that, but I like to think that I know a little bit, like a brief snippet of how movies are made, because fundamentally that's what I do on my podcast is I look into the making of movies. So I like to think that it's something I know a little bit about. Not an expert, don't work in the industry. However, I do have a little bit of knowledge from like 200 and... How many episodes have I done now? I don't even remember.
You're over like 250, I know that. 270? Yeah, are you in the 270s now? I think you are. 260s?
No. I think maybe I'm coming up to 260.
Yeah.
I see, I don't even remember.
I know you're over 250.
Yeah, I'm definitely over 250. So this is really not going well. But we're just going to wing it. And the idea for this segment that I had is that last year's segment I wasn't very happy with. And obviously it didn't help that I was feeling ill. I wasn't expecting to feel ill today. So it's kind of scuppered plans a little bit. However, this is how today is going to go. By the way, I can't see any comments or anything like that, so I have no idea if everyone's kind of shouting, "Get her off the screen! She's rubbish." Probably. But this is what we're going to do today. Is we are going to make a movie, but not just any movie. The movie that we make is going to be dictated by the donations that come in. Now, I had actually planned to make a donation before we started recording, but I haven't. But I will, but I haven't yet. So my donation was basically going to be the starting point for the rest of the donations that are hopefully going to come in. Because obviously, as we know, making a movie is expensive. You know, we're talking tens of millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars to make the movies that we go and see at the cinema, on streaming services, the ones that we rented on VHS back in the day. You know, these are all really expensive movies. And so my plan is that every dollar that's donated equates to $1 million, because that was the easiest way to do it. So if someone makes a $10 donation, they are donating $10 million to this movie. Sort of like, you know, in a little like producer kind of role thingamajiggy as we go along. But the movie is going to start with $50 million, which sounds like a lot. And to be fair, it is a lot if you think about it, because as a case in point, the movie that I'm actually working on, which I should have been working on today, but I obviously haven't, the movie that I'm working on this week that's due out next Thursday for everyone. Patrons get it this weekend. But next Thursday is Knives Out, which is obviously the Rian Johnson movie from 2019. Really successful movie. One of very few movies of that year that wasn't a sequel, a remake, a big franchise, a prequel. Like, Knives Out really stands out. And the other reason Knives Out really stands out as well is that movie, considering its, you know, incredible script, the huge cast, the huge ensemble cast, and all of the little tidbits of information in that movie, it's phenomenal. It's one of the things that I love, why I love doing what I do, is you find out little bits of information about how they make it, and set decoration and production design and stuff like that. And Knives Out is an absolutely outstanding when it comes to production design, set decoration. Like, they went to like thrift shops, they went to museums, like, to find all these like little pieces, like the automatons, is that what they're called? Anyway, things that look like humans. Harlan Thrombey has them all over his house, and they basically like found those in all of these different places. They rented them. That huge like knife display, the famous knife display, that's all rented knives. So, hello.
All right, we've got a, I can't talk apparently. We've got a $9 donation coming in from the one, the only Mr. Drew Hallam of Real Feels. Thank you. Thank you. If you can find your microphone volume and turn it down a bit, because you're peaking a bit.
Sure.
And
sure.
I don't know, because I was going to have Dan try to do it, but he can't do it from this end. Sorry.
No. It's fine, because I actually said to Dan before I came in, because he was like, "Oh, your volume's a bit low." And I was like, "Dan, I get louder." But I turned it up anyway, just for the testing. And as predicted, I've gotten louder. But anyway, as I was going to come to, my point about Knives Out is that movie was made for $40 million, $40 million. And if a movie of that quality can be made for $40 million, we can make this movie. We can absolutely make this movie. But I want it to be really, really expensive because we're raising money for charity. So the more expensive the movie is, then the more quality people that we can get involved. So here comes the money. Yeah, you ready? Here comes the money.
That was me with a $25 donation. I just said we love M.
Oh, thank you. I love you too. I'm so happy to be here, by the way. So yeah, okay. So how is this going to work? I don't know. I'm going to kind of wing it a little bit, but fundamentally, we're starting out with kind of a low budget movie with unknown writers. We haven't really kind of got them writing yet. We've got no actors yet, and we've got no director. So basically, it's starting out being starring John Doe and Joanne Bloggs, directed by Alan Smithy. Any kind of film nerds will know who Alan Smithy is. He's basically the name of a director that people put on their movie when they don't want anything to do with it. If you actually go on like Wikipedia and you search for Alan Smithy, you'll find like loads of movies where the director's gone, I don't want any part of this. This isn't what I signed up for. And so they credit it to a guy called Alan Smithy instead. I'm bringing out all the trivia. So my plan for today, and this is where things are kind of going to go a little bit downhill, is that my plan for today was to have like tiers of, so for example, if we reach $100 million, just as an example, then we would have like a certain writer. Like, for example, we would be able to hire Shane Black to write our movie. Shane Black's a great writer.
Well, that's definitely going to help get us a little bit closer. Get back over the screen there, Nick. Parker from Dissect That Film. I know you know them very well.
Yes!
M, you're amazing. Kiana would be so proud. And always remember, don't read from the book.
No. Never read from the book. And also, if you do ever read from the book and Imhotep comes back to life, always remember that the answer is Amenephus. The answer is always Amenephus. So I've seen that movie so much. I tell you what, right? That movie, just to segue, because I love a good segue. That movie is 25 years old this year. And I'm on so many podcasts this year to talk about that movie. It's unreal. Like, I love when people come to me and they're like, oh, we want you to come on our podcast. And I'm like, great. Like, when can we do it? And they're like, we want you for The Mummy. And I'm like, right, drop everything. Like, I want to do this immediately.
Hey, where's Gerald? Gerald, do you remember when you said you hated The Mummy?
Oh, Gerald.
He was not. He was not kind.
Paddington Bear.
He was
if
not
I was
kind.
Paddington Bear, he'd be getting a hard stare right now because that is not acceptable behavior at all.
There he is, just peeking out over my shoulder.
Yeah. I kind of like the fact that Gerald's kind of like just half there because it feels like give him a little bit of time and he'll just slowly move over the screen you could do it like as the hour progresses he slowly moves over so that everyone knows what time it is, like a Gerald clock.
God, if I had that power to make that happen, I would 100% do that. If I could just have it slowly scrolling across the background where he just comes into view and he's like,
yeah. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we all want. Anyway, I've totally lost my train of thought. I'm just kind of talking, which I know is kind of the point of this. But it's nice to see you back, Nick, by the way, because I kind of feel like with just me on the screen, like people don't want to see that. They want to see your beautiful face as well, because you are like the head honcho of Livestream for the Cure. Like you are the main man that's like making all this happen and like raising all this money. So that's what people want to see. They don't want to see me.
No. Nobody wants to see this face. Nobody. Well, Gerald does, besides Gerald.
Obviously Gerald does. I've totally lost my train of thought. Where was I?
Making a movie for charity, cancer research things.
I mean, that is kind of why we're here, is it not? So yeah, Shane Black. The idea is that the more money we raise, the more chances we're going to get someone like, I don't know, Shane Black, Ryan Johnson, just kind of linking it to Knives Out. We also want a good director as well. I basically made a list of like a couple of directors from like terrible quality, not terrible quality. That's really mean. All the way up to like, you know, the biggest directors of like their generation. And I think a lot of people are going to hate me.
I think that officially rounds us off at $8,001. Destruction in Human Form, Jared Taylor with a $30.78 donation. Would you like to know the budget for our movie so far?
Yes.
It's $89.78 million. Okay. Right. That's not including the fit, because we just have a starting budget of 50, you said?
Yeah, so I'm going to donate the 50 million. No, not 50 million. You know what I mean.
So with that 50, then we have a budget currently of $139.78 million for the movie so far.
Okay. So I think for that price, I think we could probably get, because originally, like, my bottom tier director was Michael Bay. Because he was the only guy I could think of.
Chat wants to know how much for Neil Breen.
Oh, I didn't think of Neil Breen. I mean, that would be like, we would have to reach like so what are we on, 8,000 at the minute? To have it directed by Neil Breen, we'd have to go for like the $9,000 today. Like, we'd have to, because that man is so special to so many people.
Agreed.
He's a living legend.
Agreed.
So at the minute, I would say we're past Michael Bay. We're going to get Alfonso Cuarón to direct this movie. And what is the movie? Well, I actually was in the green room with Nick last weekend, and it came to me. I don't know if you remember what I thought of Nick way back when, like a week ago.
That's rough.
I mean, to be fair, you've been quite busy since then.
I've just been sitting here eating this plate of dry baby spinach, so.
Oh, lovely. I mean, I expected better from you, I'll be honest, considering, you know, that you cook scratch-made food, and you had like a podcast all about cooking.
I only did this. I just did this for Joey, because this was in, was this Fateful Findings, I think? Yeah, this is Fateful Findings. This is a Neil Breen movie.
Also,
in one scene, he's just eating a plate of dry baby spinach.
Oh, okay. I've not actually seen any of Neil Breen's movies, to be fair. I've just heard a lot about them.
They're amazing.
I don't think I'll ever get them on the podcast, I'll be completely honest. Although I did do The Room, so I have featured the legend that is Tommy Wiseau, so I mean, we could have made like a sequel to The Room, could we not? We could have. Our
budget's already way too high for that. Like, the first one was what, $6 million? I mean, whew.
Well, that wasn't like my original plan, to be fair. But the original plan that I mentioned to you was a sequel to Speed.
Yep.
So that is kind of where I'd like to go. I'd like to try and get a big budget sequel to Speed. And what I'd really like for this big budget sequel to Speed. How much did we say we currently had in the pot for this movie?
We're at just about 140 million.
140 million. Okay. So if we could get it to like 150 million, which is really easy, I think it would be really cool to have Muppets in a Speed movie.
That's what, now I remember.
Yes, now you remember.
Now I remember.
Muppets. Yeah, because first of all, who doesn't love the Muppets? And second of all, Disney aren't using the Muppets for anything. Why is that? Back in the day, we had the Muppets in everything. Muppet Christmas Carol is the greatest adaptation of A Christmas Carol ever. Not just because it's got Muppets in it, but because everything kind of comes together with the fact it's got Muppets in. Muppet Treasure Island, it was like everything had Muppets in it. And now nothing has Muppets in it, except for, like, there's like been a TV show. The Muppets movie, the one from like 2011, is really cute and I love it a lot. The sequel's, not brilliant. But why do we not have Muppets in anything? Why is there not like a franchise of the Muppets in like the Muppets Avengers? Why is that not a thing? Disney own both. Like, surely it's like,
I don't know.
Science.
It does not make me very happy that because I love the Muppets too. So yeah, like why don't we have just more franchises with the Muppets? But I don't know. Like they had that like adult themed like Office type mockumentary style show, which I really loved. A lot of people loved, but then a lot of people got really mad about it because they were like Muppets are for kids because they don't remember like when the Muppets first came around and all that. So, we have a donation. For your reference, with a $25 donation. Specifically, this donation is specifically for Elmo fighting The Rock.
Hey, we'll make it happen. In this movie, we'll make it happen. We'll get Elmo in there and we'll have a scene with a cameo from The Rock where they're having like some sort of scuffle in the background. Now, the only thing is when we're talking about a sequel to Speed, it kind of can't be on a bus. So, because we've already done a bus. And obviously, we don't want to do the silly mistake of a Speed 2 cruise control where it's on a cruise ship, which is like the slowest thing on the planet. So, we would have to obviously find... And now, this is obviously where people in the comments can maybe come up with some suggestions for our writing team, which is currently Shane Black. Because he's a great writer. He'll probably set it at Christmas because that's what he likes to do.
True.
But what vehicle could the Muppets be in? Because we would want several Muppets on this vehicle. That's a fast vehicle where there's going to be like some tension. Like we don't want like. I mean, we could have like a fast boat maybe, but they've already done boats. We've done buses. We've done boats. Technically, we've also done subway trains, but
only for like one act, though.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could go back on a train because trains are quite fast, but then you can't really. You're on tracks, so you can't really like deviate from the tracks very well.
True.
So it's just a case of.
That'd be really easy to maintain a consistent speed when you're just on rails, and you can't like. That'd be like that'd be like if you made a speed version, but Dennis Hopper's villain was like really inept and like really bad at it, like what he was planning. Like, oh wait, they can just keep going forever. Yeah.
See, this is the thing. I should have put some more preparation time into this.
That's okay. That's what we're here for, is to wing this.
I am literally winging this. It's like the wingiest of wings at the minute. So to be honest, poor Shane Black doesn't really have much to work with. But and I can't see the comments, and I don't know why. So we've got. Oh, actually, we had a donation, didn't we? So let's up our director.
Ooh, okay. Who are you thinking?
Well, because I love Quaron. I think Quaron is excellent. But then I was like, oh, God. Okay.
I won! Here comes the money.
Julio from the Contrarians with a $20 donation says, Muppets in space, not from space. Get Shane Black out of there.
Okay.
Here comes the money. Here we go.
I think that was the same alert coming through twice.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it's doing that.
No, it's, I mean, I know you were having problems with the alerts last night, weren't you?
It's been a constant problem, like the whole event. I don't know why. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
We're at
Well,
$184 million now, by the way, for the budget of this movie. This is getting to be mega blockbuster status right here. We're never making this budget back, by the way.
No, not in today's cinema climate, are we? But anyway, right. So we're going to up our director. We're going to have this directed by Steven Spielberg. Now, I know he doesn't really do action movies-ish. He's done like some action movies, like Indiana Jones, I suppose you could argue. But we're going to, because the Spielberg name can get literally anything made. So.
True.
And now we're going to talk about casting. So at this level, I think that we could maybe get, because we want human actors in it as well as the Muppets. Because although Muppets are great, the great Muppet movies also have human actors in. You think like Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island and Michael Caine in Muppet Christmas Carol. So you need to have like great actors. So I'm thinking for the lead actors for this movie, we'll have like Jake Gyllenhaal maybe and Anne Hathaway. But I think we can do better. I think we can really do better. So I think that the donations can be above $200 million or $200. I keep saying million, but you know what I mean. And we'll get some higher caliber actors involved because I'll be honest, my plan is to completely blow the budget off the roof and to get Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock because that's who we want.
Obviously,
but
yeah.
We need to pay for Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock because they are like the top tier actors. So let's say if we can get over $250 donated in this session, we'll get Keanu and Sandra. But anything below that, we'll go for like Chris Evans and like Scarlett Johansson, maybe. But we kind of don't want that. We kind of want, because it's like a speed movie. And Speed 2 Cruise Control was a bit duff. But the fact that Keanu wasn't in it made it duffer. So that's what I would like for this movie that we are making. We are winging this movie to be willed into existence. So at the minute, it stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway. If we can get it above $200, we'll get Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson. And then if we can get it above $250, fingers crossed, then maybe we can get... Well, we could get it, because I could just ask him, because he's like right there next to me. And I'll just ask him, and he'll be like, yeah, sure.
I'm going to say, like, it's well-known lore by now that Keanu Reeves just lives in your basement. Whether he's there willingly or not is a question that we don't ask. We just assume. We just accept. We just know. It's fine. It's fine.
I mean, I can't remember. How did this come about? Because I'm pretty certain every year on Livestream for the Cure, there's been this rumor that I've got him in my basement. And I can't remember.
It was a couple years ago live stream that it started. I can't remember exactly why. I do not remember the context as to why, but I do remember it was a couple years ago live stream that's when it started, because that's not at all outside of the realm of possibility or anything.
I mean, it kind of is outside of the realm of possibility if you think about it logically. Because, you know, Verbal Diorama is a podcast of fact and therefore is a podcast of logic. And considering he's been making movies fairly frequently for the last few years, it kind of doesn't really work that he's actually been in my basement this whole time.
Right. I mean, well, you let him out. You're not a monster.
I mean, am I? Am I not? Who knows? No, I am one of the things, you know, like when people are retrospectively kind of thinking about themselves and what they like about themselves. And I think it's something that everyone should do, by the way, to kind of, you know, not big yourself up a little bit, but kind of remind yourself about who you are as a person and to know your value, because I think that's really important that people know their value.
Yep.
One of the things that I've always kind of thought about myself is I am unwaveringly nice. And that that is a very good thing, but it's also a very bad thing because, you know, when you are really, really nice, people tend to take advantage of people who are really nice.
Yeah.
But it's like, you should always be kind. Always be kind. That is my,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect for this to turn into like a therapy session, but listeners, I'm too used to having a podcast. That's why. Viewers, always be kind. There you go. That's that. So, the other interesting, because I did think of some other plots before I kind of got onto the Muppets speed thing. So one of the things that I thought about was like not like a sequel to anything, but like a completely new idea. And my idea was a movie called Henchman. Okay, so let me tell you about the movie Henchman that I originally thought of. I've even got a little synopsis here.
Ooh.
So this is the level of detail that I go into. Anyone who's listened to my podcast will know the insane level of detail that I go into is ridiculous. And it's why it literally takes up all my time. But detail is important. So I wrote a little synopsis for the first iteration of this idea that I had. So it's after his sudden death at the hands of Jamie Hond, British super spy, obviously not James Bond, Jamie Hond, a single henchman tells the story of his life, his violent upbringing, his entry into gang culture, and his enlistment to Dr. Queeville's crime organisation, where he meets his future wife and the mother of his children. And it's basically a story before, so he dies at the start, and then it was basically a story of him and the wife that he meets at this evil organisation. And that his plan is to become a social worker for underprivileged youths. But then he dies in this evil organisation.
Wow.
Here we go.
Another double alert. I really got to find out why that's happening. But that was Brendan Cassidy of In Session Film. We had JD on a couple nights ago. Love you, Brendan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we're officially over, by the way. The budget is officially over $200 million now. We're at 209.78.
209. Oh, okay. So we've definitely got Chris and Scarlett then.
Yeah.
I'll get on the phone to their agents. They'll be super happy. I mean, we can talk about like which specific roles that we should do, because obviously we want Muppets as well. Let's just say, for an example, that it's on a bus, because I think it's easier to say it's on a bus than to say it's on something else. So we'll go back. This sequel is going to be on another bus. And I think that we should have, obviously, the Jack Traven role and the Annie role. Oh, there he is! He's like moved across the screen.
It just, oh God. It's like he's Godzilla coming up over the mountain now.
Also, that is a wonderful earring, Gerald. That is chef's kiss earring going on.
What kind of budget do we got to get Gerald involved in this?
I mean, I don't know. What's Gerald's going rate?
Jared Taylor, dear God in heaven. I could just give him little smooches now throughout the day.
It's kind of annoying though, because I can't really kind of reach him to smooch, but I could try. I could. What we need to do is we both need to be smooching at the same time, and then you need to screen grab it, and then that can be the screen grab for this session.
If we could have it be like close enough over here. I can kind of cup his face too. Look at that.
You could cup his face and give him a smooch. There we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Okay. Oh, are we at Keanu and Sandra?
That is a $29 donation from Destruction in Human Form. That puts us at 238.
Ooh,
So we're getting close to Keanu and Sandra.
We're getting so close because you can't have Jack Traven without Keanu Reeves, right? And you can't have Annie without Sandra Bullock. Like, Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson are fine. Like, fine actors, beautiful people, talented. But this is a sequel to Speed. And also, the actual passengers on the bus are going to be Muppets. Now, I don't know which Muppets, whether anyone's got any specific Muppets that you would want, but we'd obviously have to have Kermit. I was thinking maybe Kermit could be the Mac character, like the SWAT leader, who's like the boss. He could be like outside of the bus, like trying to get in, and maybe like Miss Piggy could be like. Now this is going to be the thing. Should she be the Howard Payne role, or should Miss Piggy?
I gotta pull up this Speed cast list here so I can really take a good look at it.
Because you've got Harry, Jack Traven's partner. That was Jeff Daniels.
Yep.
So she could do that role as like the partner of Keanu's character, or actually no, Chris Evans' character. Excuse me, because it's not Keanu. This is currently Chris Evans. So Chris Evans is playing Jack Traven. He's partnered with Miss Piggy. His boss is Kermit the Frog, and he hears about this. It's kind of more of a remake, let's be honest. Let's just remake it.
Yeah.
We're remaking Speed. Now, this is what happens in Hollywood, by the way. They start off with like one idea, and then it becomes something else, and then it becomes a sequel to something else, and then it becomes something else. So we're just going through the process that all of these Hollywood execs always do. So we need a Muppet to play Howard Payne.
Ooh.
See, I think Miss Piggy would be quite a good Howard Payne.
You got to have somebody that's got that gravitas. You know, you need somebody that can really command the screen presence as an effective villain. And yeah, I mean, I would agree. I would say, yeah, Miss Piggy's got to be Howard Payne.
Yeah, and like when we're talking about screen presence and gravitas, you know, you immediately go to Miss Piggy.
True.
So I think that's what we need to do, and then we could just like we could have just like as the partner, we could just have like Fozzie Bear or something as the partner, because that's like the sort of thing that he would do.
You mean as Harry?
Yes, as Harry. So just Fozzie Bear as Harry. Partnering Chris Evans currently, because we need what? $13 more? $12
more.
$12 more. We can do $12 more dollars.
Yeah, for sure.
We can do $12 more dollars. I mean,
I'm trying to think of who would be really good, because I mean a lot of it is just filling out like those other few key human roles in the thing. Ooh, you know, here's a good question. Who would play like the original bus driver, the one that gets shot, the old man? And that's why Annie has to drive the bus. Who's gonna play Sam, the original bus driver?
Now, I suppose this is where we kind of have to speak to the overlords at Disney, because is Disney going to want to see a Muppet get shot?
It's true. And Julio does make a good point as well in the chat. Julio says, "Don't kill Fozzie." Yeah, if we make Fozzie Harry, then he's going to get blown up. I think here's my play for Joe, or sorry, for Sam. Julio says Statler or Waldorf. I say for Sam, the bus driver, Rizzo the rat.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah.
Gotta have. I mean, that'll just look great because they'll have like think of the Muppet contraption. They'll have to have him be able to reach the pedals on a bus.
Well, yeah, because it's Muppets, we're going to have some comedy. So he's going to have like huge platform shoes or something to like reach the pedals, and like some little arm extender things like to steer the bus. And, you know, we're going to have some comedy, but we are also going to have some harrowing moments because this is now a remake of Speed. So, and we really don't want a remake with Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson. I'm just saying. Can you imagine? People would revolt. Like, they wouldn't go to see this in the cinema.
No.
Like, they want Keanu and Sandra. Like, someone in the chat, we've got like 20 minutes to make this a reality. And I know that someone out there can do that. So, I mean, considering we're winging this, we're doing okay. Oh my God.
Here we go. Well, we've officially locked in. Keanu and Sandra. That's Michelle Dodo with $25.
Yes.
Have to give love for Verbal Diorama, the best theme in the podcast game. I didn't even play the theme. What's wrong with me? I totally should have ushered you in here like correctly.
Yikes.
And I didn't. So where is it here? It's somewhere in my list, isn't it? I have it somewhere. I'll find it. In the meantime,
Okay.
we gotta keep muppeting.
Okay, so we've now got Keanu and Sandra. This is amazing. Like, this is like dream. This is like a dream movie that we're making. And then what I'm going to do is my plan, because I do feel a lot better now that I'm like tableted up with like all of the paracetamol and ibuprofen that money can buy. Obviously, not like nothing else, just the ibuprofen and paracetamol. But my plan is I want to try and like put a little poster or something together. Like, and my Photoshop skills are non-existent, so this will be hilarious. But I want to kind of put out after this, like what we've made, and like just like make a really big deal out of the fact that we've got Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock to return. Through the power of Livestream for the Cure. Because how awesome is that? And then this is going to be an incredible movie. Like, I actually kind of want to see it.
I don't think M can hear it when I do it that way, though. Hang on, I got to try to figure out how I can get you to hear it.
Oh no! Did you play it? I didn't hear it.
Hang on. I almost got it here. A nice nothing like introducing it. 45 minutes into the segment, but that's okay. We're going to just keep riding it. No, Livestream for the Cure. So this back in my 2021 folder. There it is. Yep, add that in there. Where is it?
In a world overflowing with movies, we need a hero. Someone to separate the bad from the good.
Sounds like a job. Verbal diorama. She watches all the movies from comedy to drama. From the top roll sound, and don't forget the action. She'll watch until the end, and then she'll give you her reaction. Movies you know, movies you don't. Prequel, sequels, remakes, and trivia and outtake. Movies you know, movies you don't. Interesting stories, all the categories.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. But enough about me. What about the theme song? Hey!
Wow.
Do you know what? I've actually not listened to that theme song for a while because obviously I put it in my own podcast. I just literally put the file in. I don't listen to it, and I listen to the episodes when I'm editing them. But once I've edited the episode, I just put the music track in, and then I just like I'm done. So I don't actually listen to my own music, and I don't obviously listen to my own podcast because that's a bit weird. Does anyone actually listen to their own podcast like once it's out there? Because I don't. Like once it's out there, I'm like, right, it's done. It's like I've released my child into the world. I don't have to like listen to it now. So yeah, that was.
I always
that
listen
was
to
quite
mine
nice,
though.
actually.
I always listen to mine. I don't know, like something about I feel like somehow in my brain I switch it over from like the creator part of it to just the listener part of it, to where I can sort of try to listen to it as a listener and see if I can. Well, I usually in 9 times out of 10 it's just like, oh, I missed that edit. Oh, I missed that. I wish I would have clipped that out. Oh, I should have cut this out because I'm just repeating myself or whatever. So
yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why I don't. Although there have been several occasions in recent episodes where I've thought of stuff after the fact. So like the episode's gone out and then I've gone, oh man, I should have talked about this. Yeah, so that's always a bit disappointing because you're like, maybe people would have liked it a bit more if I'd have talked about this, but never mind, it's out there now. So yeah, podcasts, they're fun but a bit weird. There you go.
Definitely
That's
a bit weird.
more therapy.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Here comes the money.
For your reference, $25 donation. Listening to my own podcast is a form of self-love if you're nasty.
Here comes the money.
These alerts are killing me.
Here comes the money.
Yeah, there's a little bit overkill. But to be honest, when your podcast is of the quality of For Your Reference, if I made For Your Reference, but obviously...
I'd listen to it like 3 times in a row, yeah.
I wish I could make a podcast as good as For Your Reference. But if I made For Your Reference, I would literally just like constantly listen to myself because it's that good. So, Katie, I totally understand why you would listen to yourself because, yeah, it's phenomenal podcasting. And also, Podcast Twin. Hi, Podcast Twin! We're Podcast Twins because we started at about the same time. So twinning is winning, as my sister likes to say. So yeah. Where are we with this movie? We're kind of gone above and beyond what I expected. So we've got Muppets, we've got Keanu and Sandra, we've got Steven Spielberg directing. Maybe we could get a different director, actually, because Spielberg's great, but Spielberg's not really like an action director. But I don't want Michael Bay because Michael Bay loves explosions, but the explosions in the original Speed were not Michael Bay explosions. Like they were like good quality explosions, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I promise, I'm not like just here to like be mean to Michael Bay. Like he's done some fun stuff, but this is like a proper serious action movie where we're taking ourselves very seriously with this movie. Because, you know, Miss Piggy has basically put a bomb on a bus. So we need to obviously be serious about it.
We're going to need to tweak the plot just a little bit, though, because we need a very Muppety reason why Miss Piggy would put a bomb on a bus. And it's got to be a Miss Piggy type of reason, like, I don't know, Kermit didn't buy her ice cream or something like that or whatever.
Well, Miss Piggy is obviously one of the most beautiful women in the world, as we know.
Drew Hallam says Gareth Evans.
Yeah, we could do Gareth Evans. The thing is I kind of feel like Gareth Evans, we can't really go from Spielberg to Gareth Evans because I feel like maybe Spielberg was a bit, because he's obviously like one of the most well-known directors in the entire world. But to be fair, we should be giving other directors a bit of a shot, shouldn't we?
I mean, it could still be from executive producer Steven Spielberg and then somebody else.
Yeah,
behind
we might
the camera
have to,
for it. You could even get like a David Leitch type in here. Just directed The Fall Guy. The action that he does in his movies is always spectacular.
Ooh, yes.
The stunt work in this would be even better than the original somehow. With that kind of pedigree behind it.
Exactly. And obviously David Leitch also did Atomic Blonde, which was an incredible movie that not a lot of people saw. So if you ever get the chance to see Atomic Blonde, please see it because it's bloody brilliant. Yeah, he's great, actually. And The Fall Guy was a lot of fun. So I don't understand why that didn't do better, I'll be honest. I was a little bit like, this movie deserves to be really big. Like, why is it not big? I'm hoping, actually, if I continue to feel okay today, I'm hoping to go out to see Furiosa. Because George Miller... What?
I said I'm sorry.
You're sorry for what?
No, you're going to go see Furiosa.
Oh, Nicholas, do we have to have a conversation?
I'm just trying to manifest Gerald somehow. I don't know where he. I mean, you think having like
He's behind you.
his totem here would summon him or something. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So
I do have a question though. Why can't I see comments in StreamYard?
because we're not streaming through StreamYard.
Right.
You'd have to be on Twitch to see the comments.
Oh, okay, that's why then.
Julio said, what did Julio just say? Julio said, Miss Piggy is Furiosa. One movie at a time.
Maybe next year I'll come back and we'll do this again, but I'll be a lot better prepared. We'll do like more Muppet movies. We'll like do as many different types of Muppet movies as we can. With the idea that someone from Disney will be on Twitch and be like, oh, I wonder what's going on Twitch. Oh, here's a charity live stream. Oh, here's an idea for a Muppet movie. And then they make it. With me as executive producer, obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously. But, yeah. So, what have we made? Well, we've made over $250 million-ish in this hour, or $250. Thank you to everyone who's donated. That's awesome. Like, it's honestly well beyond my kind of imagination of what I thought that we could do. So this is really cool. And the fact we did it really quickly as well. That's really cool too. So yeah, we're going to make, and I'm going to try and put a poster together with my limited skills, a speed movie with Muppets, with the return of Keanu and Sandra.
The good thing is it's just really easy once you get those couple key human characters out the way. It's really easy to fill in Muppets for the rest of the people on the bus. You know, it's really easy to just fill in the rest of the people so we got Miss Piggy as Howard Payne in the Dennis Hopper role. I think Julio in the chat, or Drew, it was one of the two, said Gonzo as Harry. Instead of Fozzie, because they didn't want to see Fozzie get murdered. So Gonzo as Harry, maybe.
I think we're probably going to have to make it a bit more PG anyway, because this is a Muppet movie.
Yeah, they don't need to get murdered. They could just like have a bomb go off, and then they just look like they're all like scorched, like a bomb went off in front of them or something.
Yeah. I'm just not sure how we're going to do the Sam the driver getting shot. Like, what's going to happen to Rizzo the rat to make him not able to? Oh, is it going to be something like he loses his platform shoes and he can't drive the bus anymore?
That could be it. Like Yep, that could be it.
Yeah, because that's very family friendly, isn't it? So,
and then you could have another Muppet like trying to like manage the wheel while Rizzo's on the floor pushing the pedals, and that's when the bus is weaving all throughout traffic and hitting cars, and that's when Sandy B's like, "No, let me behind the wheel," you know?
Yeah, because she could be like, "I've driven a bus before," like nod to the original, because obviously, you know, her and Keanu. They're a tiny weeny bit older. They don't look older, but they are a tiny weeny bit older with a bit more experience now. So she could say, as her character Annie, that, you know, she's had a similar experience like this before, where she drove a bus through LA traffic in the 90s, and she can use all her skills to take over. And then, obviously, they find out that there is a bomb on the bus, and then Keanu obviously has to then jump on the bus. And, you know, because obviously the stunts in Speed were incredible. They were so incredible that the likelihood of the studio actually knowing what they were doing is quite slim, because you wouldn't be allowed to do stunts like that these days, not without harnesses and stuff. They didn't wear like harnesses or anything, so we'd obviously have to make sure the stunts were very safe, but we'd also want everything to be as practical as possible, which is why we've got such a big budget on this movie, because we're not going to CG any of this. That's really important, because Verbal Diorama is a podcast that supports practical filmmaking, puppet work, and lots of real explosions. So we're going to this is going to be like a properly practical thing. There's going to be very, very limited CG because we're going to have to use some, but otherwise it's going to be a real bus. It's going to be real explosions. It's going to be real stunts. It's going to be like the Fall Guy with regards to stunts.
Mhm.
And that's why it's a great shout for Leach, to be honest,
Yep.
as director. So I feel like this is probably going to be, and if we're kind of going to say, well, we'll get this movie made in a couple of years, 2026, summer 2026, this movie is going to blow up cinema screens. And if any executives are watching this right now and they want to have a conversation with me about the rights to this idea, then yeah, give me a call or an email, verbaldiorama@gmail.com. And also, executives, listen to my podcast because it's really good, and I big you guys up a lot because I talk about the work that you do. So yeah, it's all good. We're nearly at the end.
Yeah, a woman
I feel like we've
knows
been doing
these
good work.
kinds of things.
I'm so mad at myself for not using any of my Miss Piggy sound drops that I have on my soundboard too.
Yeah, a woman knows these kinds of things.
I'm so mad.
I
I could
well,
have
you've done
been
it now.
this whole time we could have been spamming Miss Piggy sound drops in here, and everything, and I just completely forgot about it.
I am so wonderful in this movie.
That's her at the premiere. Right away, we've already got her at the premiere. Right there. I forget why I ever even made those. Like, I forget why I ever even made Miss Piggy sound drops. It was for something back in the EFG days. I can't remember what it was. And then here's this one.
I'm kind of like the Donald Trump of love.
I don't know what that means. But Miss Piggy said it.
Convicted on 34 felony counts of love. I don't know.
Piggy said it. I blame Gerald. I blame everybody else. But before we run away, and you did just plug your website in the spiel you were giving to the executives, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But before you do run away, and first of all, thank you so much for coming back and doing this yet again. You know I love you so much, and I'm always so grateful that you take the time to come and have some fun. And we always just have fun talking about whatever silly thing we talk about. But well, I don't even know. Plug away. Plug yourself, please. And if you don't listen to Verbal Diorama, you will learn so much more about movies than you ever thought you would. So please check out her show. She is incredible. Thank you, Em.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much for having me. Oh my God.
Here comes the money.
Let's see. Gerald with a $10 donation says, "Em, I actually like The Mummy." He's like, it's fine. It's okay. And I'm like, no, Gerald.
Here we go.
I still don't understand why those alerts are going off twice. That is making me
I
so mad.
I don't either. But thank you, Nick. Thank you for everything that you do. You are amazing. You're an incredible human being. And thank you to everyone who's donated during this session. We've had a lot of fun. I'm going to try and put a movie poster together. It's going to be awful and awesome at the same time. And yeah, Verbal Diorama, film history. If you like that sort of stuff, go and get it in your podcast app. But yeah, it's been so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Always.
Lots of love.
Literally always. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I am
love
fine.
you.
Thank you, Dan.